About an hour ago, I received a notification from the Disney Plus app saying that The Simpsons season 35 is now available on Disney Plus in the UK. And, well, I didn't waste any time. I've now watched the first episode. I am honestly really irritated that it took this long to get onto Disney Plus in the UK, but I am relieved it's finally here. Is the first episode getting off to a good start? I would say so. Homer's Crossing is the first episode of the 35th season of The Simpsons. It feels so good to be able to say that. And as always, there will be spoilers as I talk about the episode. I won't go through things scene by scene, but I will talk about the key plot points, ultimately what happens, and also a couple of personal highlights. And I didn't care for the intro. I'll be honest, I didn't love it. But I guess it sets us up. Otto has gone AWOL. And they also need somebody to be the crossing guard. And Homer accidentally volunteers. And then he's not enthusiastic about it, but then he's at the power plant, and we learn that actually his safety console is a fake console. So when emergency things happen and he presses the buttons, he's not actually keeping anybody safe. And as soon as he found that out, he felt less important. Like he wasn't doing anything valuable. So once he realizes that that might be the case as a crossing guard, he starts to take an interest in this. And this happens because he crosses the children over the road. He's not exactly paying attention to the fact that Ralph also needs to cross. So Ralph almost gets hit by a car. Homer saves him. And needless to say, Homer is thrilled that he was able to save somebody. And I thought it was a strong start to Homer's journey as a crossing guard. But I feel like it very quickly went downhill for Homer, not in terms of the quality of the episode. Homer was then allowed to hire more crossing guards. I thought this was a fun way to bring in other characters. I think the uniform looks great, visually very effective. But I feel like very quickly we got a taste of Homer's power-hungry approach. It stopped being about his desire to help people and save people and more about enjoying the power, because we have a scene with Chief Wiggum, and it's unusual to be on the side of Chief Wiggum. Usually when Wiggum's talking to somebody, it's the other person I feel sorry for or I'm siding with because Wiggum has some interesting attitudes. But with this one, Wiggum was definitely the more favourable character here, and that's kind of the first sniff of Homer leaning more into the power. And they ended up, I have to say this episode is, I know not everybody likes it when The Simpsons takes a more political approach or it has a strong opinion on things in current affairs, but this one I think did a really good job of allowing us to read that into it if we wanted to. But I guess you could not dig so deeply if you didn't want to. But Homer then says that he needs more money. The crossing guards need more money to do their job effectively. This is because something happened. I won't spoil everything and say too much, but something happened and Homer said, well, the reason we couldn't do our job properly is because of budgeting. And I think it's fair to say that not everybody, but some people will say that. And some people need more money to do their job effectively when that's not the case. And we have a fight with the crossing guards and the cops and TSA and the lifeguards. And I actually liked that. I thought that was pretty funny, pretty entertaining. All of these groups of people, some of whom are arguably often power mad. Not all of them, but definitely that is the case in a lot of situations. And I thought the scene was pretty effective at highlighting that actually in real life that can sometimes be the case. And it can detract from the importance and the important work that those people are doing. And that's why people often dislike certain groups of people. I mean, granted, not many people would like parking attendants and parking officers even if they weren't power hungry, but certainly I know people will often dislike the police force, for example, because they think they're just a bunch of power hungry words that I won't say on YouTube. And of course, well, in my opinion, that represents only a small percentage of people in the police force. But I think the episode did a really good job of highlighting that actually this is something some people have concerns with, and it does actually happen. So really enjoyed that part of it. Homer then gets hit by Otto, which I wasn't expecting. And Homer is in the hospital very briefly. And Lisa, this quote from Lisa I loved. She's talking about the crossing guards. And she said, "They became an army in search of an enemy." And I love that. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I thought that was a really great line, very thought-provoking. Really liked it a lot. The hospital scene itself, I didn't love too much. It went in a direction, it was very brief, but it went in a direction I didn't particularly care for. But it didn't impact my overall opinion of the episode. In general, solid narrative, great execution. Other highlights I want to mention are the Mr. Burns Funko Pop. I love the Funko Pop moment. I do like Funko Pops. And basically we have the two highlights I want to mention are both basically Disney advertising things. They're advertising their Funkos. And also, well, Homer and Marge are about to have sex. I don't know if I'm just reading too much into this or if I'm misremembering it, but the sex scene seemed more, not necessarily explicit, it wasn't, but it just seemed more direct than is usually the case. Maybe that's not the case over the recent seasons and I'm just misremembering it, but I definitely felt like it was less suggestive and more direct than it usually is. But either way, the reference to the lightsaber and going Han Solo, it tickled me. I enjoyed it. Again, Disney taking an opportunity to name drop one of their other shows or films or whatever. So I actually like that. I thought it was a solid episode. I've waited a very long time for this, and I'm pleased to say that Homer's Crossing was an enjoyable start to season 35 of The Simpsons, and I'm very, very excited to watch the rest of this season.